Yes, good evening all of you. We already started with the current electricity last time. So let us see some the combination of cells in today's lecture. Okay. And also the combination of resistances. Yes. So this is what we have done last time. So basically we have already seen that the energy, electrical energy consumed can be given by this formula, and the power is also given by this similar formula. Okay, now let us talk about the combination of resistances first, and then we'll go to the combination of cells. Okay, तो देखो resistance का combination मतलब series और parallel का combination. So when the two resistances are connected in series, then their effective resistance, we know that it is given by the formula Rs equal to R1 plus R2. Even number of resistances are there, then we can just combine find your effective resistance to be simply equal to R1 plus R2 plus dash up to Rn, no doubt. Here, this series combination of resistance always increases the resistance. ये हमको अच्छी तरह समझना है. If suppose all the resistances are same, of same value, R suppose, then the series combination, effective resistance in series combination will actually be equal to N times of R in this case here. And also the potential difference across all the resistances, if suppose it is V here, V is the potential difference across the combination, then the potential difference across any one of the resistance like P1, V1 is equal to, V1 will actually be equal to R1 upon simply the R1 plus R2 plus that is up to Rn into V. तो उसका fraction से हमको उसको multiply करना है. Similarly, V2, that means the potential difference across the second resistance here will be the second resistance upon summation of all resistances into V. Even this whole summation R1 plus R2 plus Rn, we can call it as a Rs simply. That is the resistance of series combination. मतलब ये जो effective resistance of series combination जो होता है, या ये जो Rs है, तो उसको हम यहाँ पे replace कर सकते हैं आराम से और बोल सकते हैं कि the V2 और V3 in general will be actually R3 upon Rs into V in this way, and so on like that up to Vn, which will be actually Rn upon Rs into V in this case. So here the important thing to understand here is that in case of series combination, the potential difference just get divided, but the current remains the same. Okay, ये हमको अच्छी तरह समझना है कि current I1 is going to be same as I2, which is going to be same as dash up to In. That means current is actually going to be the same in case of this series combination. On the other hand, if we just talk about the parallel combination, then we can see if suppose number of resistances are connected in parallel combinations, then the effective resistance of that parallel combination is given by the formula 1 upon Rp is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus that is up to 1 upon Rn in general. That means the sum of reciprocals gives us the sum of reciprocal of the effective resistance in case of parallel combination. And if suppose all the resistances are equal, then we can just get this Rp to be simply equal to R upon N simply. And if suppose there are only two resistances, then we can just get this special formula for Rp, that is simply equal to R1 into R2 upon R1 plus R2. Remember, that means the product divided by the sum, okay, of the two resistances. So here it is the product and here it is the sum, the product upon sum. For example, if we have the two resistances of 4 and 6 connected in parallel, then the effective resistance of parallel combination will simply be 4 into 6 upon 4 plus 6. That's it simply, which happens to be actually 24 upon 10, which is going to be 2.4 in this way. So ये हम इस तरह से यूज कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे, और इसमें करंट get divided, but the potential difference remains the same in case of parallel combination. See here, in case of parallel combination, जो दो पॉइंट्स के बीच में ये सब रेजिस्टेंसेस कनेक्टेड है, ये सपोज ये एक पॉइंट ए है और ये पॉइंट बी है, तो पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन उनको ही बोलते हैं जिनका इनिशियल पॉइंट और एंड पॉइंट सेम ही होगा. मतलब सपोज एक रेजिस्टेंस हमने यहाँ पे इस तरह से कनेक्ट कर दिया, ये एक रेजिस्टेंस है, फिर दूसरा रेजिस्टेंस इन्हीं दो पॉइंट्स के बीच में हमने कनेक्ट करके रखा है इस तरह से, तीसरा रेजिस्टेंस फिर से उन्हीं दो पॉइंट्स के बीच में हमने कनेक्ट कर दिया. तो मतलब इनिशियल पॉइंट एंड फाइनल पॉइंट इज गोइंग टू बी द सेम, only the different resistances are connected in this different way here. So but the initial point and final point is going to be the same, then only we can call them in the parallel combination. So in case of parallel combination, if all the resistances are same, then we can get this as a formula for effective resistance in parallel combination. And also the current get divided in the inverse ratio of their resistances. तो ये हमको अच्छी तरह समझना है. That means if you want to find out the current in the first resistance in special, as a special, तो first resistance अंदर का जो current है I1 we can say can be obtained to be simply 1 upon R1 divided by summation of 1 upon R's here. That means in short ये हमको समझना है, ये टेक्निक है एक्चुअली, इसको बोलते हैं करंट डिवाइडर फॉर्मूला. जैसे यहाँ पे हमने वोल्टेज डिवाइडर फॉर्मूला यूज किया या डेवलप किया, सेम वैसे ही हम करंट डिवाइडर फॉर्मूला भी डेवलप कर सकते हैं. देखो इसको हम थोड़ा अलग स्क्रीन पे समझेंगे. Yes, suppose we have the different resistances which are connected in series. First of all, we'll just focus on series. तो अगर ये सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन है, मान लो ये तीन रेजिस्टेंसेस है जो सीरीज में लगे हुए हैं और उनके पैरेलल उनके अक्रॉस एक ही ईएमएफ हमने जोड़ दिया है. सपोज वो 60 वोल्ट का है, ठीक है, 60 वोल्ट. और ये जो रेजिस्टेंसेस है तो ये है सपोज 500 ओम का, दूसरा सपोज है 350 ओम. ओके, और सपोज एक 150 ओम का. ऐसे तीन रेजिस्टेंसेस यहाँ पे कनेक्ट किए हुए. We can call this as R1, R2 and R3, no doubt. And now we want to find out the potential difference across this first resistance, potential difference across the second one and third one respectively. So what we have to do is, first of all, we have to find out the ratio of these resistances. That is R1 is to R2 is to R3. If you just find it out, we can just have it as 500 is to 350 is to 150, right? Which is actually going to be, if we just divide this whole thing by 50, then we get this 50 tens are, so 10 is to 7 is to 3, correct है. तो ये हो गया रेशियो, ठीक है. just once we get the ratio, we can just find out the potential difference across each of them. For example, if we want to find out the potential difference of the first one across the first one, then we can just get this 10 upon 10 plus 7 plus 3 into 60, which is to be divided. तो ये जो फ्रैक्शन है इसको हमको 60 से मल्टीप्लाई करना है. Similarly, V2 can be found out to be equal to the second number 7 in the ratio upon the total of ratios. तो मतलब 10 plus 7 plus 3, and that is to be again multiplied by 60 again. And similarly, V3 can also be found out to be simply last number in the ratio, that is 3 upon 10 plus 7 plus 3 into 60. That's it, which actually going to be, तो यहाँ पे 10 upon 20 into 60 कितना होता है, 1/2 times of 60. So, or we can just calculate this 20, and 20 can be reduced by 60 to, so as to left with 3 here. So 3 multiplied by 10 comes out to be 30 here volt. Here it will be 30 multiplied by 7. That gives us 210 actually. Sorry, 3 multiplied by 7 comes out to be 21 here. And finally, this one. दैट इज ये जो 20 मल्टीप्लाई बाय 20 और 60 को रिड्यूस करेंगे तो 3 बचेगा, तो 3 into 3 becomes 9, and 9 volt voltage will actually be dropped across the third resistance. ये टेक्निक सबको समझ में आया ठीक से? I hope so. All of you have got this technique. So this is called as the potential divider technique. Remember, if you want, I will just give you another example of the same. Suppose we have a 120 volt potential difference connected across, suppose 4 resistances whose values are like hello. Yes. So suppose these are the 4 resistances whose values are suppose given to be like, ये मान लो 280 वोल्ट का ओम का एक रेजिस्टेंस है, दूसरा ये सपोज 210 ओम का है, और तीसरा सपोज एक 350 ओम, और चौथा 420 ओम का। ठीक है, ये इस तरह से देखो ठीक से। Yes. So if you want to find out the potential difference across each of these resistances, then we can just try to find out the resistance ratio first. So R1 is to R2 is to R3 is to R4 निकालो पहले फटाफट। कितना बनता है देखो ठीक से। It comes out to be 280 is to 210 is to 350 is to 420. Actually it comes out to be, अब देखो 70 से अगर इन सबको डिवाइड कर देंगे ना तो 70 4s are, then here it is 3s are, here it is going to be 5s are, and here it will be 6s are. Correct है? So we are going to get this as 18. Correct है? So you can just get this as 4 is to 3 is 4 plus, ये चलो ठीक है, ये जो है ये हो गया रेशियो। ठीक है, अभी इसमें हमको करना क्या है कि we have to find out the V1 value, right? V1. How can we find out this V1 here? So first of all just add this all numbers. तो इनको तो अगर हम ऐड कर देंगे रेशियोज को, तो 4 plus 3 plus 5 plus 6 कितना बनता है? तो वो 18 बनता है, याद रखो इसको ठीक है ना, 18. So in order to find out this V1 here, we'll just have this first number 4 divided by sum of all ratios. So 4 divided by 18, and that is to be multiplied by 120, because we want to divide this 120 in these 4 ratios, 4 parts which are in this ratio here. So here in this way we can just reduce this and get the exact ratio or exact potential difference to be, अभी इसको 18 से अगर इसको डिवाइड करेंगे तो 6 से इसको हम रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं, 6 3s are, and here it is 6 2s are. So ये 20 हो गया, 20 और 3 नीचे आ रहा है, तो 24s are 80. So you can just get that 80 upon 3 volt. That means approximately it is going to be 26.67 volt will be the potential difference across the first resistance in this way. The second resistance will have the potential difference of 3 divided by 18 into 120. That's it, which actually happens to be, तो यहाँ पे फिर से ये 20/3 आ जाएगा, बट 3 कैंसिल होके वो 20 वोल्ट आ जाएगा देखिए से. This is going to be V2. Similarly, V3 can be obtained to be 5 divided by 18 into 120, and in the same way here V4 can be actually 6 divided by 18 into 120 in this way. Getting this? So here we can just obtain it as 20/3 multiplied by 5. It comes out to be 100/3 actually. So 100/3 means it is going to be 33.33 volt approximately. And here also 120/18 comes out to be 20/3. But 3 and 6 gets cancelled, and 2 into 20 becomes 40 volt actually. So see here 40 volt. So ये 40 volt, ये इसमें 33 volt, इसमें 20 volt, और इसमें आ रहा है 26 वोल्ट. If you add all these numbers, then it is sure that we can get this as 120 volt here accordingly. ये करके देख सकते हो. ठीक है, तो और वो होना ही चाहिए क्योंकि उसको ही हमने डिवाइड किया है एक्चुअली. तो ये जो टेक्निक है ये हमको अच्छी तरह समझना है. दूसरा टेक्निक आता है जिसको हम बोल सकते हैं करंट डिवाइडर टेक्निक. रिमेंबर how to use it and when to use it. Remember when we have to use it when the current is getting divided in number of parts like this. तो ये सब इस तरह से मेन करंट हमको पता है. सपोज द मेन करंट इज गोइंग टू बी 24 एम्पियर. ओके, ये 24 एम्पियर का करंट जो है वो बटने जा रहा है. ठीक है, डिवाइड होने जा रहा है. एंड सपोज दैट दीस आर द डिफरेंट रेजिस्टेंसेस हियर व्हिच आर कनेक्टेड इन पैरेलल टू ईच अदर लाइक दिस. ये तीनों रेजिस्टेंसेस यहाँ पे पैरेलल में कनेक्टेड है और इनका जो रेजिस्टेंस का जो वैल्यू है वो सपोज है 6 ओम, दूसरे का है 3 ओम और तीसरा है सपोज 9 ohm. And now we want to find out the effective current in each of these parts. तो here first के अंदर जो करंट जाएगा वो उसको हम बोलेंगे I1, सेकेंड वाले के अंदर I2 और थर्ड वाले के अंदर I3. ये करंट्स हमको निकालने हैं. तो करंट्स निकालने के लिए पहले हमको क्या करना है? सबसे पहले हमको वही करना है, फिर से रेजिस्टेंसेस का रेशियो ढूंढ के निकालना है. ओके, सो रेजिस्टेंसेस का रेशियो अगर हम ढूंढ के निकालेंगे तो ये बनता है 6:3:9, which is actually if you just divide this whole thing by 3 then we can just get it as 2:1:3. correct है. But we want to find out the reciprocal ratio. okay, reciprocal ratio मतलब रेजिस्टेंसेस का रेसिप्रोकल रेशियो ढूंढ के निकालो. अभी अगर रेजिस्टेंसेस का जो रेशियो है उसको अगर हम रेसिप्रोकल करेंगे तो हमको क्या मिलेगा? 1/2:1/1/3 मिलेगा. इसको सिंप्लीफाइड फॉर्म में हमको लिखना पड़ेगा by multiplying this whole thing by 6 here, which is the LCM of these two denominators 2 and 3. So that we can get this 6 multiplied by 1/2 comes out to be 3, and here 6 is to 1, 6 into 1 is 6 only, and here it is going to be 6 multiplied by 1/3 comes out to be 2 here. So this is the simplified ratio we have obtained here, and then we have to just use this ratio and find out the final current. Suppose that the current in the main branch is not 24, actually suppose it is 44. ठीक है, it's okay, 44 एम्पियर करंट जो है वो डिवाइड होने वाला है. So you can just understand that the current in the first resistance, that is I1 here, will actually be the first part in the ratio divided by the total sum of all ratios, that is 3 divided by 3 plus 6 plus 2. How much it comes out to be is 11, and that is to be multiplied by 44, which is to be divided, so that we get this 12 ampere as a current in the first resistance. In the same way, the current in the second resistance can be actually obtained by 6 upon the total multiplied by 44 again, that is 6 upon 11 into 44, which is actually 4 6 are 24 ampere actually. And in the same way here, I3, that is the current in the third resistance, will actually be the resistance, उसका जो third resistance का जो part है ratio में 2 upon 11, and that is then multiplied with 44, so that we get this 4 multiplied by 2 comes out to be 8 ampere. And just check, if we add all these numbers, then we are sure to get this 44 exactly. Yes. So in this way, current divider formula can be used anytime. If suppose I will give another example here. Suppose एक current जो है बढ़ रहा है, पांच पार्ट्स में इस तरह से. Okay, the current here is going to be, चलो ये जो रेजिस्टेंसेस जो है तो वो है सपोज एक रेजिस्टेंस है 80 ओम, दूसरा है 160 ओम, तीसरा सपोज है 400 ओम, चौथा है सपोज 320 ओम और पांचवा है 240 ओम. ओके, ये सारे रेजिस्टेंसेस है. Yes. And the current main branch current जो है वो suppose I है. In general we can take it as I, and we want to find out the current in each of the branch here. I1, I2, I3, I4 and I5. We want to find out. How can we do that? So उसके लिए सबसे पहले हमको क्या करना है, रेजिस्टेंसेस का रेशियो निकालना है. R1 is to R2 is to R3 is to R4 is to R5. How much it comes out to be? It is going to be 80 is to 160 is to 400 is to 320 is to 240. Okay, so this is the ratio. If you just divide this by 80, then we can just get this as 1 is to 2 is to 5 is to 4 is to 3. Correct है? ये हो गया ratio of resistances. But we don't want that. रेजिस्टेंस का रेशियो नहीं चाहिए हमको रेजिस्टेंस के रेसिप्रोकल रेशियो चाहिए, क्योंकि करंट get divided in the inverse ratio of the resistances because potential difference is constant. Okay, potential difference is going to be the constant in case of parallel combination. So potential difference is the product of current and resistances. So if the product of current and resistance constant, that means I is inversely proportional to R. That means current is inversely proportional to resistance actually in this case, and that's why we have to find out the reciprocal ratio of resistances. ठीक है, तो रेजिस्टेंसेस का जो रेसिप्रोकल रेशियो है, तो वो अगर हम ढूंढेंगे तो वो हमको मिलेगा 1/1 is to 1/2 is to 1/5 is to 1/4 is to 1/3, and we'll have to multiply by the LCM of denominators. अभी देखो डिनोमिनेटर्स में ये 2 जो है वो ऑलरेडी 4 के अंदर इंक्लूडेड है, so no need to consider this 2 here. Just forget about that and just find out LCM of 5, 4 and 3 simply, which actually happens to be 60, right? 4 3s are 12 and 12 5s are 60. So if we just multiply this whole thing by 60, then we can just get this ratio simplified and get it as 60 is to 30 is to 12 is to 15 is to 20. Okay, this is the ratio of resistances. Sorry, reciprocal of resistances. Once you get the reciprocal resistance, we can just try to find out the current I1 here. So what is I1 is going to be? First of all, just add these all numbers here so that we can get this 60 plus 30 plus 12 plus 15 plus 20. How much it comes out to be? See, 60 plus 30 comes out to be 90. 90 plus 20 is going to be 110 plus this 27. So 110 plus 27 is 137 actually. So 137, just keep this in mind. This is the sum of all ratios. So I1 will actually be the first part in the ratio divided by the total of all ratios. That means it will be 60 divided by 137 into I, which is the main branch current, which has to be divided. And if it is the multiple of 137, then it will just get cancelled or it will just get reduced by this 137 here. In the same way, we can talk about I2, which will actually be the second part in the ratio, that is 30 upon 137 into I. And I3 will actually be the third part in the ratio, that is 12 upon 137 into I. Fourth part will be 15 upon 137 into I. And the fifth part means the current flowing through the fifth resistance here will actually be 20 divided by 137 times I in this way. So in this way, we can just get the currents in all the resistances in case of parallel combination. This is a special technique. Remember, this is called as the current divider formula. Remember. Okay. And one more thing here to discuss is about that. See, if suppose there are two resistances which are connected in parallel combination, and if suppose one of them is just double of other. See here. Suppose, for example, one of resistance is just of 9 ohm, and another resistance is just of 18 ohm, which is just double of this. So what is the equivalent resistance of this parallel combination? We can just find out it as सो 9 का डबल 18 है, तो क्या करने का, बड़े वाले को 1/3 करने का, मतलब 1/3 से मल्टीप्लाई करने का, बस खत्म. सो व्हाट इज द 1/3 ऑफ बिगर वन? So it will be 6 ohm. So 6 ohm will be the resistance of parallel combination here in this case. Remember, as another example, if we have this 12 and 24 connected in parallel combination, suppose, can you find out what is the effective resistance in of parallel combination here in this case? Again, see that this 12, 24 is just double of 12, right? So we can just have the effective resistance of this parallel combination to be just 1/3 of bigger one, and bigger one is 24 actually. So 24 को अगर हम 1/3 करेंगे तो हमको मिलेगा 8. So 8 ohm is actually going to be the effective resistance of this parallel combination. And if suppose one resistance is just 3 times of other, then we have to make it 1/4 of the bigger one. For example, if we have one resistance of 18 ohm and another one is 36, one resistance is of 12 ohm and another one is of 36 ohm, which is connected in parallel to each other. So when 12 is connected to parallel to 36, then the effective resistance will actually be 1/4 of bigger one, and bigger one is 36. So the 1/4 of bigger will be 9 ohm in this way. Getting it? Why? Because why we have got it 1/4 here? Why we have made 1/4? Because 12 का 3 times 36 है, तो 3 में एक ऐड करना है, नेक्स्ट नंबर लेना है हमेशा, नेक्स्ट नंबर. ठीक है, सो नेक्स्ट नंबर लेके फिर उसको उतना पार्ट करना है, बिगर वाले को उसके रेसिप्रोकल से मल्टीप्लाई करना है. As an another example, if we have one resistance to be multiple of fourth multiple of another, for example, if we have one resistance as 20 and another one which is connected to its parallel is suppose 80 here, so 20 ohm को 80 ohm parallel हमने लगा दिया. So what is the effective resistance of this parallel combination here? It is actually going to be 1/5 of bigger one, that is 80 here. So in this case we can just get it as 1/5 of 80 means it will be 16 ohm, that's it. So in this way we can just get the effective resistance of two resistances connected in parallel if one of them is a multiple of other. In general, if we have one resistance as R, and if suppose we connect another resistance which is of n times of R to it in parallel, मतलब n times अगर वो है तो उस केस में RP कितना आएगा हमारा, तो RP will actually be 1/n+1 times of R. Remember, that means नहीं sorry NR. So it will actually be NR, क्योंकि बिगर कौन है, NR है ना, तो NR को हमको n+1 से डिवाइड करना है, that's it. So this will become the effective resistance of parallel combination in this case. Okay, तो ये एक सिंपल सा टेक्निक है, तो उसको याद रखो अच्छी तरह से. और एक बात, कई बार हमको ऐसे क्वेश्चंस पूछ जाते हैं कि एक वायर है सपोज, ठीक है, ये वायर है जो कि सिलेंडर के फॉर्म में ही होता है हमेशा, बराबर, और समझो ये उसका एरिया A है और उसका लेंथ L है, और अभी सपोज ये वायर को हमने स्ट्रेच किया, इफ इट इज स्ट्रेच्ड सो दैट इट्स लेंथ बिकम्स n टाइम्स, तो लेंथ उसका जो है वो अगर n टाइम्स अगर बढ़ जाता है, तो सपोज द न्यू वायर is just like this, whose length is going to become n times of the length of the first one, previous one. That means इसका जो length है वो nl हो गया, और obviously area will also change just because we have stretched this wire without changing its volume. Volume has been kept constant, so obviously area will just decrease by n times, and the new area will become actually a by n. Understand why? Because the volume of wire is always the product of area and length simply. So if volume remains constant, that means the product of area and length remains constant. So if a length becomes n times, then area must become 1/n times, so as to keep the product constant. तो product तभी constant बनेगा जब factors में से एक factor suppose nth multiple हो जाएगा और दूसरा factor automatically 1/nth multiple हो जाएगा, तभी जाके product constant रह सकता है. Otherwise the product will change, that means volume will change, which is not the case here. So therefore we can just say that if volume remains constant and the wire is stretched manually or mechanically, then length will increase n times, no doubt. But at the same time, because of that only, the area will just decrease 1 upon n times. And hence, if we just try to find out the resistance of this wire here, R dash, where the resistance of original wire is going to be R suppose. तो original wire का जो resistance है वो कितना रहा होगा? So we can just give that as rho into L upon A, correct है? Where rho is going to be the resistivity. And as we are just mentioned last time, that resistivity always remains constant. Okay, resistivity हमेशा constant रहता है जब तक material constant रहता है. जब तक हम material को बदलते नहीं है तब तक resistivity नहीं बदलेगा. और यहाँ पे हमने wire को सिर्फ stretch किया है, तो wire को stretch करने का material तो constant ही है, material तो हमने change नहीं किया, इसलिए resistivity will remain constant. And hence we can just get that this resistance is actually going to be proportional to the length directly and area inversely. But as we can just see that length just multiplies n times and area just get divided by n times, 1 upon n times वो हो रहा है. तो इसके वजह से जो resistance है R dash, new resistance of the wire will actually become n square times of the original resistance of the wire. Just understand it why. n square कहाँ से आया? क्योंकि देखो एरिया जो है वो 1 upon n टाइम्स हो गया और जो न्यूमरेटर है लेंथ वो एक्चुअली n टाइम्स बन गया. तो न्यूमरेटर अगर हमने n टाइम्स किया और डिनोमिनेटर अगर 1 upon n टाइम्स कर दिया तो उसकी वजह से रेशियो का क्या होगा? सो रेशियो विल बिकम एक्चुअली n square times here in this case, in this way. So therefore we can just get the ratio of that is resistance of the wire will become n square times if in this way the wire is just stretched manually in this way. Okay, and one more thing we have to understand is that if suppose we have given with the number of wires, different number of wires of same material, ठीक है, सेम मटेरियल के अलग अलग वायर डायमेंशंस के वायर अगर दिए हैं, सबका मान लो कि लेंथ अलग है और रेडियस या एरिया अलग अलग है, तो ऐसे केस में कौन से वायर का रेजिस्टेंस ज्यादा होगा या कौन से वायर का रेजिस्टेंस कम होगा वो कौन डिसाइड करता है? तो उसके लिए R जो है हमारे पास R इज इक्वल टू रो इंटू एल अपॉन ए, ये इक्वेशन हमको अच्छी तरह से याद रखना है, which means that the resistance is directly proportional to the length and inversely proportional to the area. Sometimes instead of the area, the radius of the wire is given. So in that case, we have to understand that the resistance is directly proportional to the length and inversely proportional to the radius square of the wire. Okay, so जिस वायर का L upon R square ज्यादा होगा वही वायर का रेजिस्टेंस भी ज्यादा होगा. For example, if we have given with this different wires whose lengths and radius are given here in the table, like first wire has a radius length of 1 meter and radius of suppose 0.2 और चलो 2 मिलीमीटर. ओके, ये 2 मिलीमीटर उसका रेडियस है. फिर दूसरा वायर जो है उसका लेंथ ही है 2 मीटर और सपोज उसका रेडियस है 3 मिलीमीटर. तीसरा वायर सपोज है उसका लेंथ है 4 मीटर और रेडियस उसका है सपोज 5 मिलीमीटर. ओके, एंड चौथा वायर है कि हमारे पास है जिसका लेंथ है 5 मीटर but its radius is actually going to be 4 millimeter. Okay, so amongst all these 4 wires, it is very difficult to find out which wire will have highest resistance and which one will have lowest resistance. So in order to do that, we'll have to calculate the value of L upon R square in each of these cases. So L upon R square ये रेशियो जो है वो हमको हर एक केस में निकालना है. वो जिसका ज्यादा होगा उसको हम कंपेयर कर पाएंगे और कंपेयर करके उसको बोल सकेंगे कि उसका रेजिस्टेंस ज्यादा होगा. So if you just talk about the first wire, now all the wires are measured in meter and millimeter only. उनके जो dimensions है वो same unit में दिए हुए हैं. So forget about the units and just focus on the ratio. So first wire will have a L upon R square ratio which is given by 1 upon 4. Correct है? Second wire we can just talk about is having the ratio like 2 upon 4. Correct है? Sorry, 2 upon 9 here in this way. The third wire has its ratio like 4 divided by 25 and the fourth one can just have it as 5 upon 16, correct है. So if you just express these ratios in decimals, then we'll be able to compare them. So the first wire will have this ratio to be 0.25. Second one will have the ratio that is 0.2222 recurring, no doubt, like this. Then again the third wire, we can just multiply this by 4, so we can get this as 0.16 in this case. And here we can just multiply by 625. अगर 625 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे ना दोनों को, तो हमको मिलेगा 625 into 5, which is 3125, and that is divided by 10,000, so that it becomes 0.3125 in this way. So now we are in a position to compare all these wires. So we can just say that the first wire 2.5, 0.25, 0.222, 0.16, and 0.3125. So we can just find that this wire has a maximum value of L upon R square ratio, right? So we can just select that this wire will have a maximum resistance amongst all these 4 wires. And if it is asked that which one will have minimum resistance, then we can just say that this one 0.16 is minimum of all. So therefore we can just select this wire to be the wire of minimum resistance in this case, this way here. Okay, so simply we have to compare the ratio of L to R square, nothing else. Okay, तो ये हमको जरा से याद रखना है. Yes, and just graphical representation तो already तुमको पता है. If suppose we draw a graph between potential difference and the current, तो ये अगर ग्राफ हम यहाँ पे ड्रॉ करते हैं, पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस को यहाँ पे हमने डाल दिया और करंट को इस तरफ डाल दिया, इस तरह से. तो if suppose this graph is drawn for different wires like this one or this one or this one, A B C, ऐसे अलग अलग वायर्स के लिए अगर हमने ये ग्राफ ड्रॉ किया हुआ है, तो हम देख सकते हैं कि slope of that graph actually gives us the resistance of the wire, because the slope is defined as y upon x, right? But here y is replaced by v and x is nothing but I. So the slope will be v upon I, which signifies the resistance of the wire actually. And resistance actually depends on 3 factors. One is the material, the second is the length, and the third one is the area, in this way. So if suppose all these wires are of same length and same area, अगर तीनों वायर्स का अगर लेंथ और एरिया अगर सेम है, तो ए वायर का स्लोप ज्यादा है, मतलब उसका रेजिस्टेंस ज्यादा है, मतलब उसका रेजिस्टिविटी भी ज्यादा होगा, उसके मटेरियल का रेजिस्टिविटी हम कंपेयर कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे. बी वायर का स्लोप कम है, मतलब उसका रेजिस्टेंस भी कम होगा और उसकी वजह से रेजिस्टिविटी भी कम होगा, क्योंकि लेंथ एंड एरिया इज गिवन टू बी same for all these 3 wires. And this for C wire we can just say that slope is going to be small. Just why? Because theta is very small in this case and slope is equal to tan theta हुआ करता है. तो tan theta ये भी एक फॉर्मूला है स्लोप का, तो इसलिए जितना थीटा ज्यादा उतना स्लोप भी ज्यादा, जितना थीटा छोटा उतना स्लोप भी छोटा. तो इसलिए हम ये देख सकते हैं कि जिसका इंक्लिनेशन जितना ज्यादा होगा उसका उतना स्लोप ज्यादा होगा, और जबकि यहाँ पे सी का स्लोप सबसे कम है, मतलब इंक्लिनेशन कम है, इसलिए स्लोप भी कम होगा, और स्लोप कम होने से उसका रेजिस्टिविटी भी कम होगा, क्योंकि लेंथ एंड एरिया दोनों कांस्टेंट दिए हैं. लेकिन अगर यहाँ पे लेंथ और एरिया कांस्टेंट नहीं दिए बल्कि मटेरियल एंड एरिया कांस्टेंट है, तो देखो यहाँ पे मटेरियल एंड एरिया इज गिवन टू बी कांस्टेंट. सो व्हाट यू कैन सी, अगर ये तीनों जो ग्राफ्स है वो 3 अलग अलग वायर्स के लिए ड्रॉ किए हुए जिनका मटेरियल सेम है. ठीक है, मटेरियल सेम है मतलब क्या हो गया, रो इज गोइंग टू बी द सेम and also that area same hai, area of cross section is going to be the same in this case. Since area of cross section is same, we can just get that this ratio of material and A is going to be the same. That means the resistance R will actually be proportional to the length only. तो इसलिए slope जो है वो proportional to length होगा, और slope proportional to length मतलब ही tan theta proportional to length, मतलब ही theta proportional to length. तो इसलिए हम देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे कि थीटा जिसका ज्यादा उसका लेंथ भी ज्यादा. दैट मींस वी कैन जस्ट सिलेक्ट दैट इज ए हैज गोइंग टू बी द लॉन्गेस्ट वायर. ये ए जो है वो लॉन्गेस्ट वायर होने वाला है, बी जो है वो मीडियम रहेगा, और सी जो है वो शॉर्टेस्ट रहेगा. तो लेंथ को हमने कंपेयर कर लिया. देखो ए बी सी के बारे में, लेंथ के बारे में हम कंपेयर करके बोल सकते हैं कि ए विल बी लॉन्गेस्ट वायर, बी विल बी द मीडियम वायर एंड सी विल बी द शॉर्टेस्ट वन इन दिस वे. सो एंड इवन सपोज तीस तीस चीज है कि अगर सपोज मान लो कि for all these three wires it is given that the material is same, no doubt, but along with that length is also same. ठीक है, लेंथ अगर सेम दिया हुआ है तो कैन यू टेल मी which one will have maximum area of cross section, or which one will be thick and which one will be thin? So in this case, since length is same and material is same, you can just get that the resistance of the wire is just proportional to area inversely. That means, and resistance means what? Slope of the graph, right? So and slope matlab tan theta or matlab hi theta. So theta depends inversely on area of cross section. That means जिसका slope ज्यादा उसका area सबसे कम होगा, और जिसका slope सबसे कम होगा उसका area actually ज्यादा होगा. तो इससे हम कंसिडर कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे कि अभी देखो यहाँ पे स्लोप सबसे किसका ज्यादा है? ए का सबसे ज्यादा स्लोप है, तो इसलिए हम बोल सकते हैं कि A will be the thinnest wire. Area of cross section of that wire will be just smallest of all, and all the radius of cross section also, no doubt. In the same way here, C will be the thickest one. Just why? Because its slope is going to be very, very small, and slope is inversely proportional to the area in this case. So that we can just select that C is going to be the thickest wire, whereas A is going to be the thinnest one, and B obviously will be medium, no doubt. उसका जो वो it will be between the thickness of A and B in this way. So ये इस तरह से हम कंपेयर कर सकते हैं वायर्स के थिकनेस और लेंथ के बारे में या मटेरियल के रेजिस्टिविटीज के बारे में, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन विच वन इज गिवन. ठीक है, जो भी कांस्टेंट दिया हुआ है उसके हिसाब से हमको ये डिस्कस करना है. ओके, अलॉन्ग विद दिस वन मोर ग्राफिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन हियर इज दैट, देखो ठीक से यहाँ पे एक ग्राफिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन और एक हमको मिलता है कि if we have a graph between potential difference and current here, then what is the significance of area under this curve? ये जो इस कर्व के नीचे का जो एरिया है वो एरिया हमको क्या बताता है? So this area will actually give us the power. Okay. Power will be obtained here in this way. Okay, so this is the graphical representation. Yes. Then next we can just go to the cell combination of the cells in this case here. Yes. Now just see, if suppose the two cells are connected in series like this, such that the positive of one is connected with negative of other in this way. So these cells are supposed to be assisting each other. And if suppose the first cell is having the EMF E1 and the second one is having the EMF E2, and suppose the internal resistance of these cells are suppose R1 and R2 respectively, then we can just say that these two cells combined together will behave as a single one whose EMF is given by E equivalent and resistance, equivalent resistance. ये जो internal resistance है इस cell का, तो वो भी हम यहाँ पे बोल देंगे Req will be there. So Eq will actually be equal to the sum of E1 plus E2 in this case, and Req will actually be equal to R1 plus R2, no doubt. Okay, so when two cells are connected in this way, then we can just get the EMF of the cells just add up together, and resistance, internal resistance of these cells are also getting add up together. But if we have the two cells just connected in opposite direction like this, so this is the first cell which is connected in such a way that the negative of the first one cell is connected to negative of other, and this combination is used to send some current through another resistance here. Then we can just say that this combination of two cells whose EMFs are E1 and E2 respectively, and internal resistances also are like R1 and R2 respectively will behave as a single cell, which will send the current in the direction in which the bigger one sends the current here. For example, if you have the two cells of 10 volt and suppose another one is of 8 volt like this, और दोनों को हमने इस तरह से उल्टे लगाए हैं, तो this combination will behave like a cell which is just like 10 volt here, but its EMF will be actually only 2 volt. That means the effective cell will send the current in the same direction in which this bigger one wants to send the current in that direction. तो मतलब ये जो बिगर इफेक्टिव सेल का जो पोलरिटी है वो पोलरिटी एग्जैक्ट बिगर सेल के पोलरिटी के साथ मैच करेगा. ठीक है, अगर मान लो ये जो सेल है, ये दूसरा वाला सेल जो है वो अगर 18 वोल्ट है, 18 वोल्ट, तो ऐसे केस में इन दोनों सेल्स का जो इफेक्टिव सेल होगा, इफेक्टिव कॉम्बिनेशन का जो सेल होगा वो इस तरह से होगा जिसका पोलरिटी इसके जैसे मैच करेगा, 18 वोल्ट के जैसा मैच करेगा. तो इसका मतलब ये इस तरह से बन जाएगा एंड इट विल बी ऑफ 8 volt only because the difference of this 18 and 10 is going to be 8 here in this case. That means in short what we can understand is the two cells when connected in opposite direction, that is called as the opposing each other. So in that case the equivalent EMF and equivalent resistance can be found out by the special formula, that is REEQ will be actually equal to E1 minus E2, and in the same way here REQ will actually be equal to R1 plus R2. The interesting thing to note here is that even if the two cells are connected in series and they are connected opposite to each other, the resistances are always going to be added up together. They will not subtract, but the EMFs are going to subtract from each other. EMF सिर्फ subtract हो रहे हैं बिल्कुल, लेकिन रेजिस्टेंसेस जो है तो वो कभी सब्ट्रैक्ट नहीं होते, रेजिस्टेंस हमेशा ही ऐड होगा. Even we can just continue this argument for n number of cells in general. If we have the number of cells connected in this series like this, तो अगर ये इस तरह से बहुत सारे cells E1, E2, E3, E4 इस तरह से अगर हमने लगा दिए हैं जिनको हेल्प असिस्टिंग each other हम बोल सकते हैं. असिस्टिंग का मतलब क्या है? The EMFs of all the cells are getting added together. So if you just have these all cells connected in series, then the effective EMF of all these cells will actually be the summation of all EMFs in this way. And also the equivalent resistance, internal resistance of all these equivalent cells will be actually the R1 plus R2 plus dash up to Rn in this way. So ये equivalent resistance भी add हो जाएगा. But in this case, if suppose some cells are reversed, तो अगर मान लो यहाँ पे ये जो सेल्स है ये E1 है, ये E2 है, ये E3 है, ये तो सब सीधे लगाए हुए हैं, लेकिन E4 इज जस्ट उल्टा लगाया हुआ है, फिर वापस E5 सीधा लगाया है, फिर E6 जो है वो उल्टा लगा दिया है. तो देखो इस तरह से ये E1 है, ये E2, E3, E4, then E5 and E6. So all these cells are connected in this straight line in this way, and the internal resistance of all these cells are like R1, R2, R3, R4, R5 and R6 in this way. Then we can just get that the effective EMF in this case will actually be the E1 plus E2 plus E3, no doubt, but here E4 is just reversed, right? So that's why it will just get subtracted. That means here it will be E4 here in this case. Then again plus E5, because E5 is having the polarity same as this E1, E2 or E3 here, but E6 is again reversed. Therefore, its contribution will be opposite. That means it will be minus E6 in this case. Even if cells are getting added or subtracted, EMFs of the cells are getting adapted or subtracted, but the equivalent resistances will never. Equivalent resistances जो है या internal resistances will never subtract. They will always adapt together. So the equivalent resistance, equivalent internal resistance will again be R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus R4 plus R5 plus R6. यहाँ पे किधर भी माइनस नहीं आएगा, कभी नहीं आएगा. ठीक है, ये याद रखो ठीक से. And in general, if suppose these are n cells and they are all same in magnitude, तो इन सबका EMF अगर same है, so we can just get this formula modified that the effective EMF here in this case will actually be equal to n times of EMF of any one cell. And in the same way, effective internal resistance of all combination will actually be n times of the internal resistance of any one of the cells. Even अगर सभी का सेल का EMF सेम है लेकिन इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस सेम नहीं है, तो उस केस में इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस के लिए हम यही फॉर्मूला यूज करेंगे, नो डाउट. इस तरह से हम ये समझ सकते हैं आराम से. सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द नंबर ऑफ सेल्स कनेक्टेड इन सीरीज. सीरीज में ये लागू होगा या तो फिर से. ओके, इफ यू हैव दिस पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन, yes, suppose we have the parallel combination of two cells which are connected with their polarities, similar polarities connected together like this. So this is suppose E1 and this is E2, and internal resistance is also like R1 and R2. Then we can just get that this combination of these two cells can be replaced by a single cell whose EMF will actually be E equivalent, and internal resistance of that cell will be actually R equivalent, which is given by this simple formula. E equivalent will actually be given by, I could say, E1 R1 plus E2 R2 upon R1 plus R2. ये अच्छी तरह से याद रख लो. And R equivalent will be given by the simple formula. अब जब दो ही है तो इसलिए वो इक्विवेलेंट रेजिस्टेंस जो है दो सेल्स का, वो तो हमको पता है ऑलरेडी, पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन के इक्विवेलेंट रेजिस्टेंस के फॉर्मूले से दिया जाएगा. तो इसलिए यहाँ पे आ जाएगा R1 into R2 upon R1 plus R2. But basically we have to understand that this R equivalent satisfies the relationship 1 upon Req, which is going to be equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2. And actually the formula for equivalent EMF is also not this. Actually, this is not the most general formula. Actually, if we just talk about the most general formula for this, then we can just get this as E1 upon R1 plus E2 upon R2, that is to be divided by 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2. This is the general formula for finding equivalent EMF in this case. But if you just simplify this further, इसको अगर हम सॉल्व करेंगे आगे तो हमको मिलेगा सिंपली, देखो यहाँ पे, सॉरी E1 R2, सॉरी E1 R2 and E2 R1 actually. Yes, even if we just simplify this further, then we can just get it as E1 R2 plus E2 R1 upon R1 R2 kept as it is, and that is divided by R2 plus R1, and that is to be divided by R1 R2 again as it is. And here we can just see that this R1 R2 gets cancelled, leaving behind this formula here in this case. तो ये formula हमको फिर भी मिल जाएगा इस तरह से. बट याद रखो ठीक से कि ये जो है ये मेन फॉर्मूला है. ओके, तो ये मेन फॉर्मूला है. ठीक है. और अगर समझो दो सेल्स इस तरह से हमने लगाए हुए हैं जो ऑपोजिंग, इसको हम बोल सकते हैं, this cell, first cell is connected in this way and the second one is connected like this, reversed in this way. So this cell is of EMF E1 and the internal resistance R1. The second one is having the EMF E2 and internal resistance is R2. Then both of these cells combined together can be replaced by a single one, which is called as the equivalent EMF. So equivalent EMF of this combination REQ and REQ can be given by the special formulae in this case, which are like, तो देखो EEQ का जो फॉर्मूला है तो वो ऐसा रहेगा E1 R2 minus E2 R1, which is divided by R1 plus R2, and again it is REQ. REQ का फॉर्मूला में कोई चेंज नहीं आने वाला है, वो तो वैसे ही रहने वाला है, जो कि हमारा R1 R2 on R1 plus R2, no doubt, which is actually the another way of writing 1 upon REQ is equal to 1 upon R1 plus R2, which we already know here. But here this formula is again a simplification actually of another formula, which is just most general one of which is E equivalent, which is equal to E1 upon R1 minus E2 upon R2 upon 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2. This is the general formula for us. Remember that there is a plus sign in the denominator always. Okay, denominator में कभी minus sign नहीं आएगा. हाँ, भले numerator में ये minus sign आ गया क्योंकि यहाँ पे सेल्स जो है वो ऑपोजिट हम लगाए हुए हैं इसलिए, लेकिन डिनोमिनेटर में कभी माइनस साइन नहीं आएगा. एंड इन जनरल इफ यू हैव द नंबर ऑफ सेल्स कनेक्टेड इन पैरेलल लाइक दिस, सो इफ सपोज दिस इज द फर्स्ट सेल कनेक्टेड इन पैरेलल, दिस इज सेकंड वन which is connected to parallel to it in this way, the third one is also the parallel to it in this way. तो ये इस तरह के अगर नंबर ऑफ सेल्स अगर हमने इस तरह से पैरेलल में लगाए हुए हैं जिनका ईएमएफ अलग अलग है, E1, E2, E3 and even E4 and so on up to En. Suppose this last one is going to be En and there are many like this, and suppose your internal resistances are also there like R1, R2, R3, R4 and Rn in general, so on like that. So in this case, whole combination can also actually be replaced by a cell whose EMF will be called as its effective EMF of the combination, and whose internal resistance will be called as the effective internal resistance of this whole combination. And that ये जो पूरा है, तो this is going to be equivalent to a single cell whose EMF is called as EEQ and whose internal resistance is going to be REQ, which are given by a special formula, that is see EEQ will actually be equal to, इसका वो जनरिक है. अभी यहाँ पे हमको समझ में आएगा कि क्यों हमने ये फॉर्मूले याद रखने हैं, ये वाले फॉर्मूले. तो यहाँ पे हमको मिलेगा EEQ which is actually going to be E1 upon R1, मतलब हर एक EMF or that is to be divided by its own internal resistance, that's it, plus here it will be the second EMF, that is E2, and that is to be divided by its own internal resistance, and so on like that up to En upon Rn in general, and that is to be again divided by 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus dash up to Rn in this. And in the same way here, internal resistance Rn is actually given by the same formula, that is 1 upon Rn, which is going to be equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus dash up to 1 upon Rn in this way. Okay, तो ये हमको अच्छी तरह से समझना है. And if suppose all these cells are okay, one more thing, if suppose any one of the cells is just reversed, अगर ये E2 समझो रिवर्स हो गया, उल्टा कर दिया हमने, माइनस और प्लस अगर इस तरह से कर दिया, तो उस केस में वो जो टर्म है वो सिर्फ नेगेटिव कंट्रीब्यूट करेगा, बस बाकी सारा एज इट इज रहेगा, बाकी पूरा फॉर्मूला जो है वो बिल्कुल सेम रहेगा, सिर्फ वो वाला टर्म जिसका करेस्पॉन्डिंग सेल उल्टा हो गया वो वाला टर्म यहाँ पे नेगेटिव आएगा. तो यहाँ पे प्लस के बजाय सिर्फ माइनस साइन आ जाएगा, बस खत्म. और वो भी न्यूमरेटर में है, सिर्फ ओनली इन द न्यूमरेटर, नॉट इन द डिनोमिनेटर. डिनोमिनेटर इज अगेन गोइंग टू बी द सेम एवरी टाइम, नो प्रॉब्लम. एंड इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस में तो कुछ फर्क पड़ने वाला ही नहीं है, चाहे सेल को उल्टा लगाओ या उल्टा लगाओ, no doesn't matter, it's going to be the same, no doubt. And at the same time, even agar suppose all the cells, if they have all have the same EMF, अगर सभी का EMF अगर सेम है तो उस केस में क्या होगा, इसका हम एक रिडक्शन, इसका एक सिंप्लीफिकेशन करके देखेंगे आराम से. तो हमको मिलेगा if suppose E1, E2, E3 are all same, we can call it as E simply, and R1, R2, R3 is also going to be the same, just we can call it as R here. इसको हमने R बोल दिया suppose. तो E equivalent कितना होगा, तो E equivalent will actually become same as E only, just because see here in the numerator here if we just add all these terms like E1 by R1 मतलब E by R plus E by R again this third E by R and so on up to E by R last. तो सभी E by R ही तो है and denominator में भी अगर देखेंगे ठीक से तो 1 upon R again will be 1 upon R again 1 upon R and it will add up to last up to 1 upon R and this will be added n times so that we can just get this numerator to be simply equal to n times of E by R and the denominator will contain n times of 1 upon R so that this n will just get cancelled and even R will just cancel and here we can get this as E only. That means when the number of equal cells are connected in parallel and your equivalent resistances are also the same, then in that case we can get the simplification that the effective EMF will be same as the EMF of each of them. वैसे भी हम जानते हैं कि पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन में कितने भी सेल्स लगा दो तो भी उनका EMF कभी बढ़ने वाला नहीं है. पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन में वोल्टेज रिमेन्स द सेम. उसका ही एक ये करोलरी है. हम बोल सकते हैं कि if three cells of EMF 10 volt each are connected in parallel and they also have the if internal resistance same, then we can just get the effective EMF to be 10 volt only, no doubt. ये 10 plus 10 plus 10 30 नहीं होगा, कभी नहीं होगा. ये 10 10 10 मिलके 10 ही रहेगा. So but yes, internal resistance will just get 1 upon n times, no doubt, because if we just focus on this formula for internal resistance here, internal resistance का formula अगर देखें ठीक से तो 1 upon R effective will actually be, it will be R effective or R equivalent. So 1 upon R equivalent will be actually 1 upon R plus 1 upon R plus 1 upon R plus dash up to 1 upon R n times. So it will just add up to 1 upon R equivalent is going to be n upon R. So that if we just take the reciprocals on both sides, then we can get this R equivalent, which is going to be R upon n in this way. That means equivalent resistance will just get 1 upon n times, but EMF will not change at all. So when the number of cells are connected in parallel to each other and all of them are same EMF and same internal resistance, then in that case, the total EMF, equivalent EMF is going to be the same as each of them. And also the equivalent resistance, equivalent internal resistance is going to be 1 upon n times of the internal resistance of each of them. Okay. And if suppose there is a series parallel combination, sometimes. So for example, suppose this is a series parallel combination of cells like this. So ये suppose एक लाइन में अगर मान लो 10 cells लगे हुए हैं इस तरह से और सबका EMF सेम ही है, no doubt. Suppose ये E, 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 E और ये suppose इस तरह से number of cells are connected in series. They are in series and each of them is having the same value E suppose. लेकिन दूसरे रो के अंदर और एक सीरीज हमने यहाँ पे लगाया हुआ है जिसके अंदर उतने ही सेल्स लगे हुए हैं इस तरह से. ओके. ये सब भी E इतने EMF के और R इतने इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस के हैं. इन सब का इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस भी सेम है और EMF भी सेम. चलो ठीक है. Yes, so all these cells are of internal resistance R and EMF E, and such M rows are there, and N cells are connected in series in one row in this way. And I say M rows यहाँ पे suppose है. तो उस केस में क्या होगा, ये पूरा जो बैटरी बनता है इसका इफेक्टिव EMF कितना होगा और इफेक्टिव कितना होगा, तो वो हमको सपोज ढूंढ के निकालना है. So this whole combination will be equivalent to a single cell. ये सिंगल सेल के इक्विवेलेंट होगा जिसका EMF E इक्विवेलेंट कहलाएगा और इसका इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस EQ कहलाएगा, जिसके लिए फॉर्मूले हमारे पास बने हुए हैं. देखो EQ कितना होगा. You can consider here that EQ will be the effective EMF of. अब देखो एक रो का कितना EMF है बता सकते हो. एक रो में n टाइम्स ऑफ e इतना ईएमएफ है, बराबर, क्योंकि ये ये सारे जो है ऐड हो जाएंगे ईएमएफ्स, और जबकि n ईएमएफ सीरीज में लगे हुए हैं तो इसलिए n e इतना ईएमएफ बनेगा, और इसके पैरेलल में वापस n e है। और अभी अभी हमने देखा पैरेलल में अगर सेम ईएमएफ हम लगाते हैं पैरेलल में, तो कितने भी ईएमएफ लगाओ वो ईएमएफ नहीं कभी नहीं बढ़ाते, तो इसलिए इफेक्टिव ईएमएफ विल एक्चुअली बी n टाइम्स ऑफ e ओनली, which is the EMF of one row. So इसलिए effective EMF will be equal to NE. Yes. But effective internal resistance जो है वो कितना होगा? तो वो होगा, देखो एक रो का इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस कितना है, ये आर 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 ऐड होके n टाइम्स ऐड होने से वो nr बन जाएगा, लेकिन उसके पैरेलल में और एक nr लगा हुआ है, उसके पैरेलल में और एक nr, ऐसे m रोज पैरेलल में लगे हुए हैं, तो इसलिए जब सेम रेजिस्टेंसेस जब पैरेलल में लगाते हैं और m रोज अगर लगाते हैं तो वो रेजिस्टेंस जो है वो m टाइम्स कम हो जाता है, 1/m टाइम्स हो जाता है, इसलिए जो इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस है इस केस में ये बनेगा एक्चुअली n टाइम्स ऑफ r but divided by m in this way here. So this is the formula for R equivalent in this case, and hence we can just see that this is the equivalent EMF and equivalent internal resistance of this cell here. And if we just connect a resistance R externally here in this circuit, then the current flowing through that circuit will be actually obtained by using the Ohm's law on complete circuit, that is E equivalent, that is the EMF of the whole combination divided by the total resistance of this whole circuit, including the internal resistance and external resistance here. So the current flowing through the circuit will be E equivalent upon capital R plus R equivalent. And if we just try to find this out, then we can just get it as E equivalent, which is actually going to be n times of E simply, and that is to be divided by R plus n R equivalent, which is given by this formula here, which is nr upon m, right? So this is n times of R upon m, and if we just simplify this further, then we can be able to get this as, ये डिनोमिनेटर में अगर एलसीएम निकालेंगे इसका तो हमको मिलेगा m times of r plus n times of small r, that is to be divided by small m, and that is यहाँ पे n times of e जो है वो न्यूमरेटर में वैसे ही रहेगा, but this m will just go up and multiply with this n here, so as to get it as m n e upon mr plus nr. This becomes actually the formula for finding the current in this such a situation in which n cells are connected in series in one row and such m rows are connected in parallel to each other like this. Then in that case it is called as a battery, and this battery has its equivalent EMF and equivalent internal resistance given by this formula in this way. And also that the current जो है वो मिनिमम और मैक्सिमम होने के लिए कंडीशन हमने कल बताया था ऑलरेडी, आपको पता है ऑलरेडी कि करंट मिनिमम कब होगा, तो यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं कि जब एक मिनिमम कब होगा जब एक्सटर्नल रेजिस्टेंस जीरो हो, इनफाइनाइट होगा, और मैक्सिमम करंट कब होगा जब एक्सटर्नल रेजिस्टेंस जीरो बन जाएगा, ठीक है। बट इन दिस केस वी कैन जस्ट गेट द पावर टू बी पावर कंज्यूम्ड हियर विल एक्चुअली बी मैक्सिमम, अगेन पावर ये जो लास्ट टाइम हमने मैक्सिमम पावर ट्रांसफर थ्योरम बताया था, तो जिसके बारे में बताया था कि पावर कंज्यूम्ड इन अ सर्किट इज maximum only when the external resistance is always equal to the internal resistance. So in this case, the internal resistance will be Req here. Therefore, this Req, which is actually given by nr by m, will be put here so that we can just get this as the maximum power will be delivered or consumed only when R becomes actually equal to n times of R upon small m in this way. So that we can just get this condition as mr is equal to nr. Okay, so this is the condition for maximum power to be transferred, remember. Okay, so this is all about the combination of cells. Yes, let us stop here. ये उसका जो आगे का जो पार्ट है, जिसमें 12th स्टैंडर्ड का बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स आ जाएंगे, जैसे कि मीटर ब्रिज, व्हीटस्टोन्स नेटवर्क, किरचॉफ्स लॉज और पोटेंशियोमीटर का यूज। वो सब हम जो कल के लेक्चर में, नेक्स्ट टाइम के लेक्चर में डिस्कस करेंगे। ओके।